Donald Trump is a master of misdirection, a Houdini of hype and hustle, and a David Blaine of blatant manipulation. And coming up next, I'll reveal the sleight of hand he's trying to pull off with his military aggression in Venezuela, including his own self-incriminating words that have been unearthed that exposes his scheme. I'm Dan, and welcome to another Occupy Democrats report. Please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our videos exposing Trump's corruption and war on everything. And now let's examine his near declaration of war on Venezuela.
This isn't my war.
Oh, yes, it is. And your bombing of drug boats now being described as a war crime is just a pretext to lay the groundwork and manipulate public opinion in support of what you really have your eye on. This CNN report drops the bombshell, but do stick around because I have unearthed clips of the Donald self-incriminating himself before the propaganda campaign and the war crimes began.
As President Trump weighs next steps when it comes to Venezuela, the State Department is pushing back on questions of whether oil is a driving factor for the U.S. military buildup in the region. The White House insists military operations there are about stopping drug trafficking. But Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro claims that it's all about oil. CNN's Matt Egan joins us now. He's looking into this. Matt, what's going on and why the focus on oil? Remind people.
Yeah, Kate, look, Venezuela is a country that's just in deep economic crisis, right? Inflation is through the roof. Their currency has crashed. And yet they are sitting on this pot of black gold, right? Venezuela has over 300 billion barrels of crude oil reserves, right? That's more than any country on the planet. It's more than Saudi Arabia. It's more than Iraq as well. But what's striking is that even though Venezuela has this world-leading amount of oil reserves, it's actually not a major oil producer, right? It actually accounts for less than 1% of world oil production. That's really just a drop in the bucket. This is a look at the leading countries by oil reserves. And again, you can see Venezuela at the top of the list there. But because the country's been under sanctions, because of the economic crisis there, they're actually producing less than they were back in 2013 when Nicolas Maduro took power, less than even in 1999. And analysts say it would take years and just gobs of money from international oil companies before they could dramatically ramp up production. But as you mentioned, Maduro has claimed that this potential military confrontation is being driven by a desire to control Venezuela's oil reserves. And yes, the State Department has denied that. The Trump administration says this is really all about trying to stop the flow of illegal drugs and undocumented migrants. But it can't be lost on U.S. officials as they scan around the world that this is a place of potential new sources of increased oil production, and it's right in the U.S.'s backyard.
So that's liberal CNN. And according to Trump, you can't trust their fake news. So what if there was a clip of Trump himself broadcasting his scheme to exploit a vulnerable country by separating them from their natural resource? Here's Donald exposing Donald while campaigning.
How about we're buying oil from Venezuela? When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door.
And here's Donald again exposing Donald. Same exploitive scheme, different country. It's a blueprint.
Ultimately, the people will appreciate it. They're going to end up taking over the country eventually, but the people will appreciate it, and they should pay us back. But we have to go in to save these lives. We should do on a humanitarian basis, immediately go into Libya, knock this guy out very quickly, very surgically, very effectively, and save the lives. After it's all done, we go to the protesters who end up running the country, and we should then say, by the way, from all of your oil, we want reimbursement. We should have said, we'll help you, but we want 50% of your oil. They would have absolutely said, okay, 100%. In fact, they would have said, how about 75%? So, and isn't it sad? We could have had anything we wanted. We could have had 50% of those oil fields. You know, in the old days, when you had a war, it's to the victor belong the spoils.
Donald Trump isn't a POTUS as much as he's a profiteer. Trump wants to attack Venezuela because his oligarch friends want cheap oil, period. Just as he wants to annex Greenland for its rare earth minerals because Elon Musk whispered in his ear about the need for them in his industries. And just as he talked about Canada as the 51st state because he wants their metals, energy, and lumber. Trump always sounds like an idiot when he floats these ideas, but not all of his utterings are the product of an unhinged mind. Some are the product of a devious and corrupt mind. In this case, the bombing of boats, the closing of Venezuelan airspace, and the now trending rhetoric to oust their leader Maduro are calculated moves. He is setting up for the exploitation and looting to come.